Good morning, guys. I'm audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, shall we start the class?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in the last class, what we have discussed,
About refrigeration and
Heat
heat
pump
pumps.
and
so we have discussed about the heat pumps, refrigerators, how does it work, and what do you mean by COP, is it? So how many of you know what is COP?
desired output by work input.
Desired output, rather than I can say it as desired effect which you required, divided by for that what work input you are giving, so that is your work input. Okay, so this was the COP, and we have defined the COP for both refrigerators and well as the heat pump. And what about the thermal efficiency? Thermal efficiency is regarded with the heat engine. So when there is a heat engine coming into picture, when you are trying to analyze the heat engine, you evaluate the heat engine in terms of the thermal efficiency, which is given by work output divided by heat input. Okay, so the heat engine is analyzed how? Is analyzed in the basis of the thermal efficiency, eta thermal. So that is given by the work output divided by heat input. Similarly, if you want to analyze the refrigerators and the heat pumps, how will you analyze? You will analyze or evaluate using a parameter known as the COP, which is the ratio of the desired effect divided by work input. So all these things we have discussed in the last class. Okay. Next, there is a popular question. I have found it in your previous year question paper. So, which says, prove that COP of heat pump is equals to the COP of refrigerators. Okay, so always the COP of heat pump will be 1 plus the COP of refrigerators. And you can even prove that with the simple mathematical correlations. Okay, so we will just look into it in this class. So first draw the diagram of a heat pump. See, heat pump and refrigerators both look alike, but the thing what differentiate these two is, what differentiate these two?
Q1 and Q2,
Exactly,
like
the
desired.
yes, the where you concentrate, what is your desire, what is your intention of that equipment. So that really matters. So the heat pump, the intention is to supply heat. That means your desired effect will be Q1. Refrigerators are designed to be extract the heat from a system. That means you want a lower region, lower cooler space. So you'll be analyzing your desired effect would be the value of Q2. So that is the only major difference between a heat pump and a refrigerators. So the same thing, if I try to define the COP of a heat pump and COP of a refrigerators, the work input in both the things remains same, which is Q1 minus Q2. Is it? The work input for both heat pump as well as the refrigerator is Q1 and Q2, but the desired effect changes. For the heat pump, what is the desired effect? For the heat pump, what is the desired effect?
Q1.
Q1.
Q2.
Similarly, I'm taking here. So Q1 is the desired effect and work input is Q1 minus Q2. So that your expression for COP for heat pump would be Q1 divided by Q1 minus Q2. Do not remember all this. Just remember the basic definitions of the uh, COP. Okay, if you just remember it, you have to apply your concepts to get the final output. Mugging up the end results will never make you perfect in the subject. So always go with the concept oriented study. Okay, so COP of the heat pump is nothing but desired effect by work input. So desired effect is Q1 in case of the heat pump. Work input is Q1 minus Q2. Therefore, expression for COP of a heat pump could be Q1 divided by Q1 minus Q2. Similarly, for the refrigerators, what is the desired effect? The desired effect is,
Q2.
so Q2 is your desired effect. So Q2, I'll be writing it here, and you have your work input remain same, that is Q1 minus Q2. So Q1 divided by Q1 minus Q2 is the expression for COP of the heat pump, whereas the Q2 divided by Q1 minus Q2 is the expression for the COP of the refrigerator. Now, I want to prove that the COP of the heat pump is equals to 1 plus COP of the refrigerator. What can I do mathematically to prove this equation? Anyone can suggest? It's a simple task. So I just want to prove that the COP of the heat pump is equals to 1 plus COP of the refrigerators. So I have the expression for the COP of heat pump. I have the expression for the COP of the refrigerator. What mathematically can I do so that I can prove this sort of equation? Think. If you have a piece of paper with you, just try to work out and let me know if anyone could answer this. I would be most happy.
Substitute the above equation.
Substitute the above equation where? Which equation in where?
The main equation, that COP of
Okay,
heat.
substituting okay, heat pump expression here and so refrigerator COP here and proving LHS is equals to RHS. Yes, even that can be done. Is there any other way that apart from just proving LHS is equals to RHS? I want to derive this expression. So if you know this expression, you can prove, but how to derive it? You don't know this expression. Think you don't know this expression, then what will do? Yes, expecting answers from you. So just try to work on this. Sorry. Yes, guys. Any answers? Any hints from you? Yes, Ashwita?
So I found another equation.
Mm-hmm.
HP is equal to Q1 by Q2 into, sorry, COP of HP is equal to Q1 by Q2 into COP of refrigerator. It's another equation.
Okay, so how did you start proving it?
COP of refrigerator is Q2 by Q1 minus Q2. So I took
Okay.
Q1 minus Q2 is Q2 by refrigerator.
Okay. You have
Then
gone
I
in that way.
substituted.
Okay, you can
You
get
can
that,
take,
but it becomes a little bit tedious, Ashwita, at the end. Yes or no?
I get a different equation in this. So now
Yeah,
the
that's what.
desired. If we
Let's
take
see.
work in Q1 minus Q2,
Uh-huh.
and if we substitute over there, can we do it?
Yes, again, it becomes complicated. That is simple sort of basic maths. If you do it, you'll get the expression. Mohammed Sihab. Mohammed Sihab. Namita.
Sir, still trying. 1 minute.
Okay. Suraj. Niharika. Nishit.
2 seconds.
Yeah.
So add 1 on that COP of refrigerator on both sides.
Add 1 on COP of refrigerator both sides. Okay. Let me try. So what is the COP of refrigerator? That is given by what? Q2 or Q1? Q2. The Q2 divided by Q1 minus Q2. So if I add 1 on the both sides, that is plus 1 here, Q2 divided by Q1 minus Q2 plus 1 again, then I should take the LCM, is it? Q1 minus Q2 will be the LCM. Q2 plus Q1 minus Q2. So Q2 goes away. So Q1 divided by Q1 minus Q2, COP of refrigerator plus 1. So this would be equal to nothing but COP of the heat pump. Very good. Who said this?
Abdul,
Sorry?
Abdul Rahman.
Abdul Rahman. Very good, man. So this is one of the way you can solve it. Very good. Any other ways? Very good, Abdul. Reza, Ramdas.
Yes, sir.
So any new methods so that you
Sir,
can
if you
get
subtract both of them.
exactly very good. So if you subtract 2 minus 1 or 1 minus 2 to get the answer. So that is what your textbook says. So here it is. So if you subtract 2 minus 1, so it is COP of heat pump minus COP of refrigerator. Both the LHS has to be subtracted. When the RHS are on the other hand, so Q1 divided by Q1 minus Q2, which is RHS of the first, and the RHS of the second is Q2 divided by Q1 minus Q2. So Q1 minus Q2 divided by Q1 minus Q2, cancel it, you'll get 1. So transfer COP of refrigerator to the either side. So it will be COP of heat pump is equals to 1 plus COP of refrigerator. Any of the method you wish, you can just go with it and get the answer. Okay, clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Niharika, you were trying something? Got
Yes,
it?
sir. No, self-trying, sir.
Okay, fine. So this was simple sort of derivations to understand the actual content of COP of heat pump as well as the COP of refrigerator. Now we will go into the core of this particular topic, which is the second law of thermodynamics. Okay, second law of thermodynamics is being categorized or divided into two laws. That means two persons have given laws. Okay, number one is known as a Kelvin Planck. So Kelvin is a different person and Planck is a different person. So Kelvin Planck togetherly they gave a one law, which is known as a Kelvin Planck statement of second law of thermodynamics. You can just understand it, and the Clausius statement. Okay, so these two people have given their own statements, which is regarded as the second law of thermodynamics. Number one is Kelvin Planck's statement of second law of thermodynamics. Number two is the Clausius statement of second law of thermodynamics. These are very, very important, and the only thing which I found in your question paper is these two statements and their equivalence. Okay, so kindly concentrate. Let us try to understand first what is Kelvin Planck statement, what does he say actually, and what is the Clausius statement, and what does Clausius say actually. Okay, so kindly concentrate now. Okay, see, Kelvin Planck is generally regarded for heat engine. So heat engine, how does it work? There will be a thermal reservoir, two thermal reservoir. In between, there will be a heat engine which gives out the work output, which is difference in the heat energies which is supplied from the hot thermal reservoir and the cold thermal reservoir, which is Q1 and Q2. So this is equals to Q1 minus of Q2. So whatever the work output is, just a moment. Okay, so generally heat engine works in this particular way. But if I try to avoid this particular thing, that means if I try to eliminate the cold thermal reservoir, that means if I try to eliminate the heat rejection, what happens? So from the hot thermal reservoir, whatever the amount of Q you are getting, it is completely converted to work. Okay, it is completely converted to work since there is no heat rejection into the cold thermal reservoir. So in such case, what happens? Your W will be equal to Q. Yes or no? So whatever heat input you are getting, there is no heat rejection, is it? So whatever heat input you are getting, the entirely it will be converted into work. So in that case, W will be equal to Q. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Negligible loss of
So
service.
Yes, sir.
exactly. So if you look at this, if W is equals to Q, if W is equals to Q, so this particular expression you have already learned in some other law. What is that? W is equals to K, you have already came across in some sort of other law. What law is that?
Cyclic process. First law of thermodynamics.
First law of thermodynamics applied for a cyclic process. Excellent. So according to the first law of thermodynamics, what does it say? The cyclic integral of work flows must be equal to the cyclic integral of heat flow. Yes or no? That means, but according to the second law of thermodynamics, what does he say? Kelvin Planck says that whatever you are doing, is it now that the heat flow can be entirely converted into workflow That means all the heat, whatever you're giving, can be directly converted into workflow. That means the W will be equal to Kev according to the first law of thermodynamics. But Kelvin Planck says this is not at all possible. Okay, this is not at all possible. So, what is the statement of the Kelvin Planck then? It is impossible for an, just observe the statement, this is very, very important. Okay, it is impossible for an heat engine to give the network output, if it exchanges heat, with a single reservoir, if it exchanges heat with a single reservoir at single fixed temperature. Got the meaning? So according to Kelvin Planck, what does he say? He turns down the first law of thermodynamics. Kelvin Planck totally, he just throw it in the garbage. Why? He says you cannot convert directly heat into work. Why? Because it is impossible for an heat engine to give the network output if it exchanges heat from a single reservoir, single fixed temperature. So that is your statement of the second law of thermodynamics given by the Kelvin Planck. Got the meaning, guys? So what does he say, Kelvin Planck? Karthik?
So we cannot use a single reservoir to exchange the heat.
That's what. You can use a single reservoir, but you cannot get the network output. That is the thing he says. Okay, so just go through the definitions given in the textbook. Okay, there is something. Okay, fine. Yes, can anyone just read the Kelvin Planck statement?
It is impossible to construct a device that will operate in a cycle and gives no effect other than
Extraction of energy.
in the form of heat from a single thermal reservoir and performs an equivalent amount of work. This statement is applied to a heat engine.
Yes. Next statement, I would request Fahad to continue. Fahad, from the statement says, Fahad Abdul.
The statement says that no heat engine can be developed that extracts Q quantity of heat from high temperature reservoir and converts that into an equivalent amount of work, that is W equals to Q.
That's correct. So here is the statement diagrammatically represented from the Kelvin Planck. So this is possible. Okay. So this is correct and this is incorrect. Why? Because in this case, what happens, there is thermal reservoir which extracts Q1 amount of heat. Q2 amount of heat is being rejected to the sink. The difference between these two is being given out as a work output from the heat engine. But according to this, what happens, whatever heat energy you are giving, there is no the secondary thermal reservoir, whatever heat input you are giving, the entirely it is converted into work. That means your W will be equal to Q, which is impossible according to the Kelvin Planck. Got the meaning, guys? Got the meaning?
Yes, sir.
Everyone.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, listen. So in this case, which is in an impossible case, if I try to calculate the thermal efficiency of a heat engine, so what is the thermal efficiency of a heat engine? It is work output, okay, work output divided by heat input. So in this case, work output is W and your heat input is Q. But according to this impossible case, your work will be equal to heat. Whatever heat you're supplying, the total will be converted into work. So work and heat get cancels because they are equal. So then what will be the efficiency of a heat engine? Man, it would be 100%. Yes or no? That means that parallelly, Kelvin Planck wants to say that the efficiency of a heat engine cannot be equal to 100%. Got the meaning?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that is what he'll be illustrating in the further thing, I guess. Yes. Yeah. Can anyone just read it? Nilesh Markle.
Yes, sir.
Read it from here. Here.
So efficiency of such heat engine would be output by input, which is equals to W by Q equals
Mm-hmm.
100%. The device
Mm-hmm.
satisfies first law of thermodynamics,
Yes or
the
no? So this
principle of
particular
conservation of
device,
energy.
just a minute, Nilesh. Yes or no? This particular device satisfies the first law of thermodynamics, but it turns down the second law of thermodynamics. Keep this in mind. And such a machine, which satisfies the first law and turns down the second law, is known as a perpetual machine of second kind. Hope is given. Let us see. Yes, Nilesh, continue, please. The device satisfies.
Uh, but violates the Kelvin's statement of second law. Obviously,
Mhm.
no heat engine exists with 100% thermal efficiency.
Exactly.
Uh, Thus, a heat engine receives Q1 quantity of heat
Mhm.
from a high temperature thermal reservoir, a portion
Yes.
of which is used to work W before
Mhm.
rejecting Q2 quantity of heat to the low temperature thermal reservoir, the
Which
atmosphere.
is nothing but your atmosphere. Okay. Any doubt in the second law of thermodynamics?
No, sir.
Understood?
No, sir.
Apart from Karthik and Sabit, all of the guys understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine, good.
Yes, sir.
So, shall we move to the Clausius statement now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, if you understand these two statements, you can be a king in this particular topic because these two statements are so important, which covers all the concepts in it. Now, now, it might be a refrigerator. Let me take a refrigerator as an example. So this is a hotter region here, or a hotter thermal reservoir, and this is a colder region, which is the cold thermal reservoir. Okay. Now, what does the refrigerator do? Refrigerator extracts heat from the cold thermal reservoir and it gives heat to the hotter thermal reservoir. That means this I have indicated always as Q1, this as Q2. Yes or no? So this is the function of the refrigerator. Okay. See, I'm not giving any sort of work input to this. Can refrigerator transfer heat from the colder region to the hotter region without any work input? I'm not working on the system here. I'm not doing anything. Can refrigerator alone can transfer heat from colder region to hotter region? That is my question.
No, sir.
Absolutely no, is it?
Yes.
So you cannot transfer heat from the colder region to the hotter region without working on it, which is nothing but your Clausius statement of second law of thermodynamics. So you must and should require a work input to the refrigerator so that you can transfer the heat from the colder region to the hotter region. That means, in the other sense, in a passive voice, I can say it is impossible to construct a refrigerator that transfers the heat from colder region to the hotter region without giving the work input, which is nothing but your Clausius statement of second law of thermodynamics. If anyone could read it, that would be better. Niharika,
Yes, sir.
just read the statement.
From the beginning, sir.
Yeah, it is impossible.
It is impossible to construct a cyclic device which
Mhm,
produces no effect other than the transfer of heat from a
mhm.
low temperature body to high temperature body.
Temperature body. Just elaborate the statement. Next, the statement is
The
related to.
statement is related to refrigerator or heat pump and
Mhm,
says that without any work input, it is
mhm.
not possible to operate a refrigerator.
Exactly.
It means that heat cannot flow itself from a low temperature region to a high temperature region without the aid of work input.
Any doubt, guys, in the Clausius statement? Any doubt?
No, sir. Clear.
Clear, right?
No, sir.
So these were few statements which forms the core of the second law of thermodynamics. Of course, there are many corollaries to it, many explanations, many extractions to it. But if you understand these two statements, one is the Kelvin-Planck statement of second law and the Clausius statement of second law. The second law of thermodynamics could be very, very easy. Okay, so this is what in a diagrammatical fashion he has just represented the things. So first one he says it is impossible. Okay, first one he says it is impossible, and second one is possible. Why? Because there is no work input in the first figure, which is in an impossible figure. You're observing, right? There is no work input. That is not possible. If there is a work input, then only you can transfer the heat from the lower temperature region to the higher temperature region. That is according to the Clausius statement. Nishchat, just read out this statement, man. All this.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
The schematic arrangement to prove the Clausius statement is shown in figure. The statement is concerned with heat pump and refrigerators. Both of the above
Okay.
two statements
Okay.
are negative
Just a minute. Just a
statements.
minute. Nishchat. So you said that the statement, which is Clausius statement, is concerned for the heat pump as well as for the refrigerator. So my question is, Kelvin-Planck statement is concerned with which one? Since Clausius statement is referred for refrigerator and the heat pump, Kelvin-Planck statement can be applied to which sort of device?
Heat engine.
Exactly, good. Now continue, Nishchit. Both of two statements are negative statements.
And are based on experimental observations. Both of these statements have no mathematical proof.
Okay, so when you term it as a law, 99% of the cases, it will not be having any sort of mathematical relations to prove it. The law is arbitrarily accepted, then only it is known as a law. Okay. Okay, fine. So next, coming to the perpetual motion of second kind. Can anyone just read it? That would be very easy. So perpetual motion machine of second kind is nothing but this particular figure, man. So this is nothing but your PMM2. This is PMM2. Why it is PMM2? It accepts the first law, but it does not obey the second law of thermodynamics. It turns down the statement of second law of thermodynamics, and such a fictitious machine. What do you mean by fictitious? It does not exist. Okay, it is an imaginary world. So such a fictitious machine is known as PMM2. Okay. Yes. PMM of second kind. Prajit Rai.
Yes, sir.
Just read out the statements given there.
The second law puts a restriction on the thermal efficiency of heat engine and is always less than 100%.
Yes, so that is
The
what
law
the
states
Kelvin-Planck says. 100% cannot be achieved. It will be always less than 100%. But to be 100%, then your W should be equal to K. That is not possible according to the second law. The law states that.
the law states that cyclic device always rejects heat to a low temperature sink to do useful work W.
Yes, so you can observe a PMM2 which exchanges heat with a single temperature reservoir, and there is no other temperature reservoir. So whatever heat input you are giving, entirely it could be converted into the work output because the value of Q2 is 0. So such a fixtures, you can just read it out. PMM2 is a device.
is a device operating in a cycle and produces work by action. So what is that word, sir?
By exchanging, there is a printing thing.
Oh, okay, exchanging heat with a single heat reservoir. Such a device is impossible as per Kelvin Planck's statement, but it does not involve first law of
Does
thermodynamics.
not violate,
Evolve it. First law of
does not
thermodynamics.
violate the first law of thermodynamics. Okay. So the same thing. Equivalence of Kelvin-Planck statement, we'll just see it out. Okay. Before to that, I think most of you have not filled the feedback form, guys. So in the meanwhile, I take the attendance. To do this. Okay. Because you have filled it, it's fine. Because you have not filled it, just fill it up. We'll be taking the attendance meanwhile. Abdul Rahman.
Yes, sir.
Abhinav.
Sir, he had to leave the meeting because of network issues, sir.
You will leave it now.
I think he's in the meeting, sir, but he can't hear. Like he has network issues, sir.
Abhinav, okay, fine. Adarsh.
Present, sir.
Shanul. Andreza.
Yes, sir.
Akshay Arkutian. Amit Yaslahari.
Present, sir.
Amrit Acharya.
Present, sir.
Okay, while I'm taking the attendance, which I filled up the this thing, feedback form, they can just look into these things, which I'll be explaining in a few minutes after the attendance. Okay, so you have learned what is Kelvin-Planck statement. You have learned what is Clausius statement. But these two statements are pretty much similar, he says. That means equivalence in the sense, what does Kelvin Planck say? The same thing Clausius states, but in a different manner. So you have to prove the equivalence between the Kelvin Planck and Clausius. So how do you prove it? So you try to violate the Kelvin Planck initially and prove that even the Clausius will be violated. If you violate this Kelvin Planck, the Clausius will be violated. Then in such thing, you can prove that equivalence of the Kelvin Planck and Clausius. That means both are equal. I am violating this, that is also violating. In the other hand, you can even prove by violating Clausius also. So if you violate the Clausius, Kelvin Planck would be violated. So if you prove that I am violating Clausius, by violating Clausius, even the Kelvin Planck is violated, then you can establish the equivalence between these two statements. So regarding that, there is some sort of theory given, which I'll be explaining you anyhow. If you are free, just you can glance it up. And with Rai.
Yes, sir.
Ashwin K. Okay, yes, present. Ashwita.
Present, sir.
And then see if Hanoi.
Chandan present, sir.
Okay. Fahad. Faisal.
Sir.
Gaurav. Okay. Next, Gautam. Shivan is there. Karthik is there. Fasil. Muhammad Sihab. Muhammad Tausif Ali. Muwaz. Percy is there, okay. Muvas. In Suraj, why Muvas is able to hear you clearly? Okay.
Present, sir.
So what's the issue with Muvas, man? He was active initially, but nowadays, what is the issue with Muvas?
So I guess he's in some final year project. So he's kind of busy in that.
Okay. In Suraj, okay, he's there.
Present, sir.
Nafa,
Sir, Tausif present, sir. Network issues.
Muhammad Tausif Ali. Okay. Next, Nandish. I have not called your name. Wait. Nafa is not there. Namita? Okay. Nandish is there. Fine. Nathan? Niharika?
Present, sir. Present, sir.
Yes, Nishit?
Present, sir.
George?
Present, sir.
Omkar? Why this guy is again being absent? Pat and Jane?
Present, sir.
Ish. Suvarna?
Present.
Rajat Mahabali Rai?
Present, sir.
Akshan is there. Ramdas? Ramdas. Ranjit? Shabbat?
Present, sir.
Sagar Acharya? Shahzad Abdullah?
Present, sir.
DC? Shetty Sujay?
Sir Shashank.
Sir, present, sir.
Okay, Sujay Shetty. Shetty Tejas?
Sir Shashank.
Present, sir.
Yes, yes, yes.
Present, sir.
Shashank, I have marked you.
Yes, sir.
Pavan Kumar?
Yes, sir.
Next is Sriraj is there. Saurabha?
Present, sir.
Present.
Sumant?
Sir, Sriraj present.
Yeah, I have marked you. Sumant?
Sir, Saurabh, present.
Saurabh, I have marked you. Sumant not there. Okay, we have Varun and Vigneshwara. Amit P. Sangoli.
Yes, sir.
Nilesh.
Present, sir.
Sir, Amit.
Edwal Hegade.
Sir, present, sir. Present.
Sandesh.
Sir,
Rachan.
present.
Yes, Prajwal, I have marked you.
Sir, Amit.
Sandesh. Rachan. Rohan.
Yes, sir, present, sir.
Varun. Okay, Mohammed Sihab.
Sir, Rohan, present.
Rohan.
Sir, Amit present.
Mohammed Sihab. Okay, marked. Amit Sangol, I have marked you. Varun Adarsh P. Rohan, I have marked it. Muhammad Amin. Muhammad Amin.
Yes, sir. Present.
Numan Asadi.
Present, sir.
Okay, guys. So hope everyone has filled up the feedback form. Those who have filled it up, that's okay. But those who did not fill it up yesterday, just fill it up. Okay. So shall we continue? How much? 10 minutes. Okay, fine. We shall do it in the next class, which is the Kelvin Planck statement as well as the Clausius statement. How these two are interconnected into each other. I hope you have understood what is Kelvin Planck statement as well as the Clausius statement. Yes, any doubts in this?
No, sir.
Okay. So in the next class, we will be discussing how these two are interconnected. Till then, take care. Have a nice day.
Bye, sir.
Yeah, bye.